Hello, everybody, and welcome. So happy to have you here with me today. Happy Thursday, happy holidays, Merry Christmas. And we had we had to do a tech check kind of behind the scenes. So thanks for your patience. Just real quick, I wanted to make sure that everyone is clear as to where to go to see this live and to be able to interact with us. So the best place to view the live is to go to facebook.com/Coach Leslie /live, or you can go directly to my Facebook business page at Leslie Bytel International, and you should see the live stream right there. All right, guys. So again, I want to welcome everyone. I'm really looking forward to our chat today. And today I have Ali Zozos joining me, and really love this topic. This is a topic that really is just incredibly, it's hot. Let's just say this is a super hot topic, right? Mm-hmm. And that is how to create groups and memberships, and really how to build that out, how to scale your private practice, your business with groups and membership programs. And specifically, we're going to be talking about how to integrate the Eat Love tool into your membership program. We'll be talking about, some of the other strategies involved. And then we'll be talking about how to specifically integrate that tool to add more value, to save yourself time, and to really create an awesome membership program that's ongoing. And I will just say, one of the reasons I personally am so passionate about this topic is looking at the business side of running a practice. It is incredibly important that we identify revenue streams in our business, or create those revenue streams where we can get away from selling our time, right? Selling, like our one-to-one time. I'd like to start a private practice with, really focusing on your high-end one-to-one kind of VIP platinum level programs and packages. As you begin to develop that model, it's really important to build out other revenue streams. So that's really going to be the focus of our conversation today. All right, so with that little bit of background, I want to welcome Ali. How are you today, Ali?
I'm doing great. A little cold. I know we're both bundled in our
we got our turtlenecks on, right? And we're kind of matching too, right?
We really are, just like down to everything. But it's freezing here in Pittsburgh, so I have bottom half is like sweatpants, cozy socks, warm hot coffee, 24/7. But other than that, doing pretty good.
Exactly. It's really cold here in Lake Geneva as well. I gotta say, I'm bundling up. I was outside earlier. Woo, chilly and no sun. So that is definitely the weather here as well. So, and you're in Pittsburgh visiting family, right?
I'm in Pittsburgh visiting.
Okay.
Born and bred in Pittsburgh, living in Austin currently.
Love that. Yeah. So why don't we kick things off? I always love to learn a little bit more about my guests. So tell us a little bit about your journey.
It's been a doozy, that's for sure. Just to where I am currently, which would be nutrition technology. And I think a lot of the time when we're in our internships looking to kind of find our niche, just in general of what we want to do, whether it's food service, clinical, community, which is really all the internship prepares you for these days, there's a lot more options out there. So it's so important to diversify your own personal portfolio with opportunities that interest you, because you don't have to be locked into the same niche in that setting for the rest of your life. You can do a lot of different really unique things in nutrition. And that's sort of why I wanted to get into the field specifically, and started in clinical, like most watching probably today. I was in a nursing home setting for about 2 years, and I really felt like I wanted to make a bigger impact. So virtual private practice had always been, just private practice in general. I don't know if it was supposed to be virtual, but the pandemic happens, things change, and I can't imagine having like a shop right now. It just, everything works really well virtually, and got that to a really good position in terms of scalability, largely in part due to the software that we'll be talking a lot today, which is Eat Love. And so much so that I wanted to work for the company, just in terms of how great they are positioning dietitians to develop this service and offer this to the general public, but also how it made me where I am in my own business, that I can divert, maybe 1 to 2 hours a day to my business and then work, full time in another area that I'm so passionate about, which is nutrition technology and just the advancement of the field overall.
That's incredible. So do you currently have a private practice in nutrition?
I do. I'm still running that on the side. I do that early mornings, sometimes in the evenings, weekends here and there, but yeah, still running that, getting ready for my New Year's launch.
I love it. So yeah, tell us a little bit about that practice.
Yeah. So like many, I know you sort of alluded to this earlier, Leslie, and that was starting with your high ticket items offers. That's going to keep the lights on when you're running your initial private practice,
Right.
Just so you can pay the bills, all your software payments, everything to get started. You just need a couple of those clients to get in the door so you can keep things moving. But as you develop that program, what you want to offer, finding your niche. My niche is Mediterranean nutrition, which is still very, very broad. It touches a lot of different conditions and a lot of different conditions. Sorry, lots of distractions here at the house. Yeah, so from there,
Mediterranean nutrition.
Yeah.
So which makes sense given your where you're from, right? Your ancestry. I asked Allie, her last name, what the origin was or is, and she's Greek. So that makes a ton of sense that you would want to specialize in helping people to integrate that Mediterranean lifestyle into their lives. So, so you're helping what kind of patient or what kind of clients?
I see a lot of metabolic syndrome and conditions that make up metabolic syndrome. So just insulin resistance, diabetes, a lot of heart health, a lot of preventative medicine as well, just in terms of my family has a history of high cholesterol or heart disease, and my doctor has recommended this way of eating. How do I do that? So a lot of just general healthy and the occasional weight loss, but like many of you out there, focusing on more of those lifestyle factors is really big in Mediterranean as well. And it's more so you're going to have weight loss secondary anyways. I want you to feel good, enjoy your food, have a sleep schedule, and not be so stressed out about everything. So we do a lot of that in my program as well.
I love that. So it sounds like you yourself then integrated the Eat Love tool into your private practice. Can you tell us a little bit about how you did that?
Yeah, and I know I'm a unicorn, so I'm just going to start with that. Because I launched my practice in the pandemic, just kind of going at it full force. And I don't know my business without it because I heard about it through a friend, figured I'd give it a shot. And I know with my niche, I was going to be asked for meal plans, even before I opened my doors, virtual doors, that I was going to be asked for meal plans and recipes. And I hadn't even finished my internship. Yeah, no one has time for that. So I was on the lookout for something that was cohesive, comprehensive, that could take that heavy lifting and allow me to focus on a lot of more marketing, a lot more one-on-one clients, just everything else that involves running a business. So I actually didn't offer meal plans. I wasn't even considering offering them until I came to Eat Love and found that just how great the service was in terms of the scaling piece of that business. So when I launched, I had a couple of different things I was using, scheduling, payment processing, and eventually 3 months in, I found Eat Love, Calendly, Stripe, and that's all I needed. That's all I needed to run my business seamlessly because Eat Love took care of the charting, took care of the notes, took care of care planning. Yeah, there is a section on there that you can do all of that within. So it kind of takes the place of my EMR. I know that's not the same story for everybody, but it does what it needs to do for my practice, works really, really well that way. That way I can keep food and meal plans and recommendations, recipe collections, which I will get to when we talk more about how to use it in a group setting. And then, scheduling link and a payment processor.
I don't think I realized it had all those capabilities. That's incredible.
Yeah. Your online chart and portal for each client just has one tab of meal planning. There's tabs to look at their activity, tabs to look at their care plans, which you can put notes in just generally, because that's all client facing. They can see that. So if you have your goals lined up for the week, I always put their homework and SMART goals at the very bottom in the notes section. So that way when I, am messaging them, because there is messaging as well, that I didn't need another system that would take care of scheduling, take care of payments, take care of charting, because I already had them lined up.
That is incredible. Absolutely incredible. All right. So tell us a little bit then about how is Eat Love, the tool, the software, how is it modernizing what we do as practitioners and as dietitians specifically?
Yeah. It's not only, it is definitely modernizing. It's the way of the future, because when we want to be in a specific place in our business, whether that's a revenue number or just having the number of clients, we want to have overall, we have to scale. And there's no way that we can even working with 10 one-on-one clients, that may be your cap, maybe it's 20, somewhere in between there. But at some point you hit that max where you can no longer progress because you're focused too much on that one-on-one time and care. So what you can do to modernize is to provide additional value to your programs, whether that's your core program where you're working one-on-one with someone, your group program, or a membership program down the line. But all of those pieces are going to have value add. And Eat Love is my biggest value add to my program in any of the capacities. I put everyone on Eat Love because I know what they're going to be asking me for, and it's part of my daily method of operation. It's how I do business. It's how I share recipes. It's how I communicate with them. So with that, just going for modernizing it, time it saves, value add. There's a couple of other ones, lots of different value adds. So we can get into that more with the groups and the membership specifically, because there's a few very key specific pieces that I want everyone watching today to know that that's available in Eat Love.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely want to move into that fairly soon in our conversation, because that is such an important topic now. And I know, actually, for those of you that are watching live, as well as those that are going to catch the replay, I'd love to hear from you. Can you please post in the comments? Let us know. Do you currently, what do your services look like? Are you mainly focused on one-to-one services? Do you currently have a group program or a membership in place? Or are you wanting to do so in the upcoming year? Just give us a little bit of an idea in terms of where you are in your trajectory, and that way we can offer some tips to help get you moving forward, regardless of where you are. Right? So how then can dietitians and nutrition professionals, what can they expect in terms of utilizing Eat Love in their private practice?
Yeah, definitely time saved for sure.
Yeah.
But what they can expect is better client outcomes, because you're going to have more opportunities to engage with them. Right. We just actually rolled out a wonderful feature, client dashboard, and it's actually just the first push into where we want to be in terms of a coaching platform, but also in terms of group coaching as well. So we now have a client expiration dashboard, so you can actually track your members and your clients with a timeline. So they signed up for a 3-month program, 6-month program. You actually put a date in there. We'll track their timeline. So that's one less thing you have to worry about, one less thing that's messy on your Google spreadsheet, which I'm sure we all have, on who's done what, who's in what group, things they still have to accept. It's, all over the place. And the timeline is definitely one of those big pieces, because I know I've forgotten timelines before. Had group members in my program for a month, forgot to give them another call just because I didn't know where they were physically in that timeline. So the client expiration can take care of that, but you can also run reports within that dashboard. You can see who's engaged, who's disengaged, who's semi-moderately engaged, and you can reach out to those clients accordingly. Of course, those rock star clients maybe don't need a check-in every single day. And of course, it's all based on how your programs are structured. But the ones that are completely disengaged, that haven't even logged in or done anything, you can see that. And the difference between that and something like a printed meal plan is we feel validated giving something to our clients, but we honestly don't know what they're doing with that plan. It could be in their desk drawer, could be in the garbage can on the way out. We have no idea, but at least we can call them out in the most respectful way possible, just to check in and to see if there's anything else we can do on our services that's more, do you need help here? How can I better explain this? It just provides a better customer service at the end of the day.
Yeah, that is a really interesting point in terms of how do you engage with clients that especially with the Eat Love platform, who are like, no, I think I'm good. I just have a feeling they may not completely understand how to utilize the platform, right? If that's the, if that occasional client, right, that doesn't seem to be super engaged. Any tips on
tons of tips.
Reel them in? Because this is a question that I often get. How do we help them? How do we help our clients to make the most of the platform?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I think boils down to my full role at Eat Love as client success is to make sure that everyone that joins a platform, whether it's in our free, basic plan that we have currently, or it's in our premium model, is how to introduce that to your clients. Mm-hmm. And it's such a comprehensive platform. Anyone that's not watching today, I definitely encourage you to go sign up for our free version of that, just to get a taste of what it can do in your practice. But it's very extensive. It's not something that you're going to understand overnight. There's going to be a little bit of lead time to understand how it's going to work with your business and how you want to introduce that to your clients. So we can't ignore onboarding. Just like when anyone signs up to join Eat Love, I do my best to reach out to every single new person to do an onboarding session to show them the ins and outs, learn about their business. And it's the exact same with your clients. You have to onboard them. You have to understand what their goals are. You have to understand how the platform is going to work for them, because no two people are going to be the same. And one thing I hear often is that, I may not be using Eat Love the right way. There's no right way to do it. There's absolutely no right way to use Eat Love. You can use it for recipe search, a recipe planner for the week. You can use it for, a food tracker. You can use it for a little mix of everything. One of my favorites is collections, which I don't want to give too much away with that just yet. But there's so many different ways, but it really boils down to a good onboarding time. And we do have a great checklist in the toolkit that goes through if you have 10 minutes, if you have 15 minutes or 20 minutes to focus on. So showing them their side. Screen share works the absolute best. I've done it both ways. I've done verbally over the phone. Does not stick well as here's a screen share, or even better yet, having them share their screen, showing them exactly what they're getting with the plan. But we can't ignore the onboarding piece. Or the orientation piece of that. However, there are a few ways to onboard your clients if you're looking to free up some of your time, because maybe, you're onboarding, your initial assessment's already 90 minutes long and you're like, I can't, add something else on top of that. Yeah. So a few ways to get around that is to have them fill out an intake form that we also have in the toolkit, have their profile ready to go on their appointment day. The other one is to actually save and invite them to the platform. So instead of you asking them questions, how much time do they want to spend on their meals, what their food preferences are, you can actually just save an invite with a name and an email address, and they can fill out those steps for themselves. And then you can review it together at your appointment, which is going to take a lot less time than going through A to Z and everything in between. So onboarding for sure. And then never letting it go 2 weeks, I would say. Making sure you're checking in with them, however you do your check-ins, whether you're using Eat Love for messaging, whether you do emails or Voxer or however that works, but making sure that you have eyes on them at least every 2 weeks, depending on how long your program is. You don't want to let it go longer than that, because one of two things are happening. They're either doing fabulously and they no longer need you, or they're falling off and they need some assistance to get back on. And I would say it's usually the latter.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Especially if they've gone MIA, right? Usually it's the latter. Mm-hmm. I would agree with you there. So how specifically let's talk a little bit about memberships, right? Because I know that's our super juicy topic for today. So how and why would we want to integrate Eat Love into that business model, right? Tell us about that. Maybe share a little bit about what that looks like. what, I know this is a lot. So like some of the inclusions in like a membership or a group program. And then we can talk a little bit about how we can onboard a group specifically. We can save that for a little later.
Yeah. All right, so let's start with the memberships first. And I look at memberships in two different ways. I look at memberships as a group program that's more high level, but still, more of like a membership. We lock you in for 3 or 6 months. That's still technically a membership.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one would be like an accountability membership or access to your resources, very light touches, but they have a lot of value added. It's kind of up to them to structure that program. And you're there for maybe through a Facebook group, or you're doing a weekly or a monthly webinar or something that gets everyone together. So in terms of like a group higher level program, really I give Eat Love the same to everybody. The difference that I do is accountability. So I charge based on that piece. So my group and my membership get the same resources, but that group has follow-up calls. They have check-ins. They have a more active Facebook group. I'm doing more live Q&As in there because that's more one-on-one time. And that's what this level of these clients need to do. So with both of these, I guess it would probably be the same with a little bit of differences. The first would be check-ins. With my group, I'm going to be doing weekly check-ins. I'll probably put out a message on a Monday asking them to, fill me in on their goals, what their challenges are. But that's the first thing that I'm doing. I'm usually doing that through Eat Love with the group. And it's just, I do everyone at once. I check everybody the same time the next day. And I really structure that time so that I'm not being pulled in a million different directions. Because then that's the purpose of the whole group and the scaling aspect of it. So even when you're onboarding patients and clients, even putting your time that you answer messages in your contract so they know when to expect responses from you goes a long way, because then you don't feel obligated like, oh no, that's in my terms. I don't have to respond at 10 p.m. on a Monday night, which I know everyone watching has done at one point or another in their career.
Right? Boundaries. And I love that idea. I always recommend the same thing. Put those boundaries into your client agreement, right?
Yeah. So the messages at least once a week in the group for the group within Eat Love. There's a couple of ways you can structure the meal plan. This may not be something everyone knows, even if you have an Eat Love account or trying out the free version, is that you don't have to recommend a whole meal plan. You can recommend one meal, like for breakfast. You could do 3 breakfasts for the following week, or 4 dinners, or even just snacks. Just really meet that client where they are and don't overwhelm them. Because a lot of the times they're coming to us because they can't manage whatever chronic condition they have. And it usually stems from the lack of planning that they're putting into it. So they may think that getting a meal plan solves the problem. We know that it doesn't. But even a step further to that, giving them a meal plan, even though that's what they want, also can regress them even further, because now they're overwhelmed. They don't know what to do. They thought this is what they wanted and they're ready to quit your program. So what you can do is streamline how you want to offer that. So figure out how much they're planning now. What is their end goal? And then figure out what that realistic goal is that they can actually meet next week. Hitting those small mini victories are going to keep them motivated. They're going to want to come back. They're going to want to report good things back to you. So even recommending everyone that's in my group, I start with 1 meal. Membership looks a little bit different because it's all resources, but everyone that comes through there, we're setting that realistic boundary of, okay, you're not planning at all. Let's start with your most challenging meal. We'll go from there. And usually you're met with the next question, well, what do I do, for the rest of the meals? The great thing about that is Eat Love has a database of almost 6,400 recipes that they can search and plug into their planner on their own time. But for your purposes and your one-on-one time that you're spending with your group client member is that you're focused on dinner. Everything else above that's a bonus. They have the resources there if they choose to use them. But I like starting clients with 1 meal for maybe 3 or 5 days the following week. Batch cooking involved, swaps, teaching them how to do that, making sure that they know this is just an on-demand inspiration. It's like Spotify. You can skip to the next one if you don't like what you're offered first.
That's amazing.
Keep going until you find what you like. And then there's a lot of different ways you can search and put in your planner what your family wants, that day. If anyone is making, 3 dinners, this is definitely the software for your clients, because no one wants to make 3 different dinners. I don't know how many times I've heard that, but figuring out, okay, what's everyone in the mood for? How many ingredients, what equipment are we using, how many calories, how much fiber, how much protein they want in this dinner, you can plug all that in. Your clients can plug all that in. But what's better is that when you do that, you're giving exactly what they want. So I've alluded to this a few times, but collections is definitely one of my favorite features of Eat Love, if not my favorite feature, because it curates exactly what your clients are asking for through our filter. And our filter goes through everything you could possibly think of: skill level, number of ingredients, avoidances, and then you can plug in specific macro and micronutrients. If you want something with no less than 21 grams of protein and 10 grams of fiber for a dinner, an Italian dinner even, you can do cuisine filters as well. And then you can make a collection of those recipes that you know your clients are going to enjoy, because it's what they told you they enjoy through their profile. And you can share those with one client individually, or you could share them, which is one way that you can use it for a group setting, is if everyone is joining your program for general weight loss, you can name these collections Healthy Weight Breakfast, Filling Afternoon Lunches, I don't know, some fun title for dinner, but then sending it to every single person in your group with just a few clicks. And once you create that collection once, it saves. That way it's there for your clients who are in your program currently and those that join it 3 months down the road.
Oh my gosh, so robust. We're getting quite a few questions. Before we jump into the questions, which we're going to do in just a moment, can you share how to go about getting that complimentary trial?
Yeah, absolutely.
For our viewers who aren't yet on Eat Love or aren't yet utilizing it, how does that work exactly? And I'm going to post the...
Can I post the link in the chat? Will that be seen by everybody?
I think so. And oh wait, is this also... I'm not sure if this is... Yeah, go ahead and post the link. I think that would be super helpful.
So pro.eatlove.is, it will be your ticket to the free basic plan. Up to 2 clients for free forever. So there's no trial technically with this. As long as you're working with 2 clients, you can activate and deactivate as they come. As long as you have space for them. Of course, it's a light version, so it is missing premium capabilities, including printing, a full avoidance list. My other favorite that is really good for groups too, which I think I just want to slide in here real quick, is the 23-week nutrition education program. So anyone out there that doesn't have a core curriculum or is just starting their practice and doesn't know a service to offer their clients yet, taking the framework that we have in this 6 months worth of content in there and just doing it's actually already set in your phone and your app. So there's a button in your settings that you can check on each client to receive a weekly inspiration of what are 1% improvements, how do you build a better pantry, and everything in between. And what's really great about that is you can model your entire program off of that. Whether you want to go live in your Facebook group and talk for 15 minutes about 1% improvements, but what do 1% improvements look like to your audience? So maybe my 1% improvements might look like, what are 1% improvements for reducing your blood sugar, reducing your A1C, learning how to eat a Mediterranean lifestyle, just really speaking that language to your clients, because it's already done. The framework is there. You can just adapt that. Yeah. The 23-week nutrition education program is great and actually I'm redoing my membership in the new year to be 6-month minimum to fit the curriculum and make it, here's a weekly webinar that I'm going to do for 10 minutes. And it's
so
huge value add.
Into your Facebook group.
Yeah.
Okay. So Allie, did you try to post the link?
I did. Yeah. You can't see it.
Make sure you're posting so everybody can see.
I don't think I have chat with the host and other guests. Okay. So I think.
Okay.
Oh, I'm in private chat. Just kidding. I just switched tabs.
Okay.
Oh, lots of questions. Hello, everyone. I did not even.
Yes, we got lots of questions.
Actually, I don't think it's going to let me. It's not going to let me post in there. But pro.eatlove.is.
Okay. Oh wow, we've got lots of it's a private chat. Okay, guys, let me post. Okay, we had a little snafu, I think. Hang on, I'm just posting the actual Facebook page, Coach Leslie /live. Okay. All right. I don't know what happened there. That is so never a dull moment, right? Okay. All right, guys, let's take a peek at some of your questions here. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to show these on the screen.
Oh, amazing. I love StreamYard. How cool is this?
No, that way I can just see them. All right, so how long do you give them meal plans for? Because you can only have so many people on Eat Love.
Yeah, that's a great question. Great question, Ayana. So what I would recommend, I'm trying to make sure it's crazy. So what I would recommend, and this is one of those ways that you can scale your business into a membership model, that whenever they're done with your program, you have the option to enroll them into something either higher tier, maybe they're upselling, maybe they're downgrading. But I think to start, that would streamline a lot of this is to make them sign on for a minimum commitment. So you're working with whoever your client is for 3-month minimum. I'm really partial to 3 months. I want to do 6 months at some point in my business, but 3 months is a good foundation. Not only improves client outcomes, but it protects you as a business owner that you can project your revenue. You can make easy targets for yourselves, just like you're making easy goals for your clients. You need to know what revenue you need to create to hit your goal by the end of the month. And likely even on month 1, how many packages do you need to sell day 1 of the month? So whenever they hit that 3-month, you can always do, renew, upgrade, downgrade. But then that's where Eat Love comes into play. You have 15 seats for our pro starter, but we do have higher models. And a lot of it comes down to how you're pricing your programs. Because even with the free basic plan, which I didn't mention, it's free. It is free, but it's a free way for you to make a baseline income because the service is there. And all you have to do is price it, however you want to do your higher ticket offer. 2 clients alone can pay for your entire caseload of 15 people. And then say you blow out those seats and you need a higher program, you have leeway in there because you're making money and it's money. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's why I was so happy when I heard about the opportunity that Eat Love is giving all of us to do that, to have 2 free seats on the platform, right? Because essentially, guys, what that means for you is you can integrate those 2. Of course, maybe you want to take one of those slots, right, to try out the platform, and then transition that. I'm calling it a seat, right? Because it's 2 people on the platform. But the thing that really is so helpful about that model is it gives you an opportunity to, yes, try it out for free, albeit it's not the full, robust, entire platform, but it's a lot.
It's a lot. There's a lot on there still.
And then this is the thing that's really awesome, is it gives you an opportunity to make money. You basically can make your revenue before you're committed to the platform, right? So hopefully I'm explaining that, in a way that is clear, but you can integrate, sign 2 clients up, utilizing the platform, and then you've basically made that revenue where you can invest part of it into a paid membership on Eat Love, right? So I love that.
Exactly right. And with that, it not only commits your clients to, or commits you to giving it a shot, but we want everyone that invests in Eat Love to be invested long term, because like I mentioned, it's such a comprehensive platform. It does take some time to fully learn it. And, there's a lot of fake it till you make it with your practice. I know I did it for like a year and I'm still doing it. Let's be real. There's a lot of things that you have to try out as a business owner. As long as you're confident in your delivery and your offers and your payments, it's going to shine and it's going to show through your clients as well. And they're going to trust you. They're going to want to do this. So that locking them in for a 3-month program, that you introduce this in addition to everything else, even if you just have Eat Love and the 23-week nutrition education program as part of the premium membership, that's a program in itself. You and that continue to deliver, a software and a cohesive plan for all of your members as they go forward. But I think long and short is you want to keep your clients around as long as possible, Ayana. That's as long as, I think, Leslie, you do a really great job with that year-long retention plan. Yeah. And it's so true, because we see that 3 months and like, oh, we don't want their journey to end. Of course, we want to work ourselves out of a job, but we want to be able to provide value. And we can't do that if we're doing constant one-on-one work. At some point, we do have to scale that. And Eat Love is the perfect vehicle to help you do that. While whether you price it at $49 a month as a membership program, that's still $49 each person. And even if you have to upgrade for seats, that's all built in. Those first 2 clients technically paid for that already.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, you do remind me of just to mention how critical that is. Guys, I know those of you that have been watching the show for a while, you know what I'm going to say, right? We want to continue to serve our clients over the long haul. We always want to have that next step. So after your clients finish with that initial 3-month commitment, you've got a next step laid out for them. And in many cases, depending on where the client is at in their particular journey, maybe they no longer need one-on-one services, but they still want to feel connected to you, right? They're not quite ready to go off on their own completely. So moving them into a membership program is, I think, an awesome idea. Kind of a lower price membership, maybe $49 a month. Where maybe we're including, a Facebook group. Maybe you're going to do like a live stream or a webinar specifically, or some kind of, maybe training, something like that in this group. Maybe do some live Q&A and laser coaching. I think accountability is huge. Really, really want to encourage you to look at the accountability piece, because that truly is another component that people are asking for. They want to feel like they've got someone watching their backs, right? Keeping them on track towards achieving their particular goals. So there's a lot you guys can do with this. So we're good with this question, right? Okay, awesome. Let's keep going because we've got a few. Okay, hey, Annie. Okay, so Annie says, I'm currently one-on-one focused, but interested in transitioning to group and or membership as I'm getting burned out with the one-on-one formats. Absolutely. So at a certain point, you basically run out of slots to sell. Okay, you run out of time in your calendar, in your schedule to sell. Mm-hmm. And this is where, my hope is that you would create a leverage offer before you're so crazy busy that you barely have time to create it and offer it, right? So it's good to do some thinking about how you want to move forward. What does that leverage offer look like before you become just incredibly crazy full, right? So absolutely want to support that next step for you. Let's see here. All right, you need to do groups and okay, yep, so kind of the same. So you want to move into groups, really want to encourage you to do that. Okay, so this looks like an Allie question.
I'm trying to plan doing individual meal plans for a person, trying to decide between using dietitian or fitness version. Yeah, great question, Ayana. So the difference between the dietitian and fitness version is the level of liability, I guess I would call it. So the fitness version removes that liability for trainers who are technically not licensed to provide meal plans for, let's say, like diabetes, high blood pressure, even just recommending meal plans in general. So it takes that piece away, and you can still input all of their information, their preferences. You can do all of that, and then the system will generate those meal plans on demand for your clients. On the fitness side, your clients still have the exact same version that dietitian clients see, so they can still swap their meal plans. They can do everything in that sense. They actually have a little bit more capability, so they can select, if they onboard themselves, they can select a diabetes plan on their end versus a trainer recommending, they're going to be on a diabetes template. It would technically be a nutrition prescription. So I think in the fitness, we use nutrition plan and lifestyle goals versus nutrition prescription, which is a little bit more MNT focused. The dietitian side has full control over all of the above. So you can edit templates, you can add and remove nutrients, which really make it personalized for. This is why, Eat Love loves dietitians, and we love providing the service, because we're so uniquely positioned to do this that we have to do this. there's like no getting around that we are the best people to provide that service to our clients, and we can very much customize exactly what we're offering. So dietitians can select from all 30 plus different templates that are included: the high cholesterol, celiac, pregnancy, even lactation, things that are more medically supervised. So that's really the biggest difference between the two. And then it goes based on licensure as well. So making sure, understanding your scope as a practitioner in your own right, and knowing what you can do with state limitations and things overall.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. Hey, Christy. So Christy added Eat Love meal plans to packages for clients, and it looks great. Oh, and it has saved tons of time. That's incredible. That's what we want to hear, right?
Tons of time, and not even just the meal plan side of things. It's the collections that you can create and send to all of your clients, and you can pull them in my Facebook group. It'll be like a weekly or a monthly collection. Like, what do you want to see this month? Everyone has an interest in Mediterranean nutrition. That's why they're working with me. Mm-hmm. So it usually stems from quick and easy meals, 2-ingredient snacks, something that everyone is just interested in me having curated it for them. And they get it in their inbox. It's in their account that they can see, and they can schedule those meals directly to their planner. So there's lots of ways that you can add meal plan-like capabilities, and collections almost gives more flexibility, but a streamlined capability, because they don't have all access to everything, but they're still like, oh, this is recommended to me by my dietitian. I'm super excited to schedule this for dinner tomorrow night because it's something that they recommended.
I see. That's incredible. Okay. With groups, would it be a good idea to group them according to a specific condition, such as GI or DM? Do you have any thoughts on that, Allie?
Yeah, I would say depending on the type of clients you're working with, it is possible that you have more than one niche. To provide a truly good overall service, I would probably separate them. That's like GI related and diabetes related, only because the message is going to be a little bit different in how you offer. So if you do like a core curriculum and you're talking about, what are 1% improvements for GI, what are 1% improvements for diabetes, they're going to look really different. So it's not going to relate to every single person in the group. You could do something more generalized, like a generic nutrition program. The 23-week nutrition education program is a really good tool and framework to kind of peek at some topics that would be considered general nutrition. So it really depends on where you see your program developing. If you want to be, here's you enroll 2 groups a month and they're completely separated, or maybe you do every other month, or maybe you do, I don't know, however many times a year, but to really get that message out, because they are so different. Maybe something like hypertension and diabetes, that would be something you could pair together. But if you're finding that the content and the outcomes your clients are looking for just aren't really overlapping, then maybe separating them. However, if you have a group and you like working with both of these and you want to specifically focus down on GI and diabetes, that's something even unique, and you could do that as well.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, probably I would look at, I always like to look at where's your low-hanging fruit, right? Because I think I would look at, between those, GI versus diabetes, I would look at like where could you most easily fill a group program, right? Like where, because that's really the key. A group is a group. So ideally, you would have, a handful of people that are ready to go, right? Really interested. So I would probably prioritize based on the demographics within your private practice. Okay. Hey, Annie. Annie's not sure how to incorporate group programs into her practice, and like how often she should meet with them. Should I have a pre-recorded video? How do I set up a manual for them, or some sort of course that they can navigate through? So do you want to take on any of those aspect?
I can do a quick overview because it sounds exactly, how I ended up where I'm where I am today. So I think I pivoted to groups rather quickly, probably quicker than I definitely did not have a caseload to go to groups, but I knew that's what I wanted to do primarily anyways. I had one person in my first pilot group. She knew it was a pilot group. I think she realized she was the only person. I'd fluffed it up with family members, fake it till you make it. I'm all, you got to do it.
Great idea.
But so when I switched to more of that group, I was doing live webinars because I wanted to get the feedback. I wanted that really personal connection with those members at first, but it was something that I wanted to overlap because when you start overlapping groups, that's when you start to see the scale. That's when you start to see that investment where you're only working a couple hours a month, depending on what's included in your group program.
Mhm.
And you can, that return on investment it can be crazy high, especially if you're running 2 or 3 groups at a time with 5 or 6 people. Even it doesn't even need to be that big of a group. So I was doing live videos at first. I was going into my Facebook group and doing live webinars. And then I think around November of last year, I just pre-recorded everything. I put it in a teachable course and I have it there to this day. I, should go back and review it and update it a little bit. But right now, when anyone joins my group program, they're enrolled into that. It's going to drip content in automatically for them.
Okay.
So I don't even have to worry about the curriculum piece of it anymore. They kind of take themselves through that on a week. Every 2 weeks, I introduce new material for them. But it's something that took, 6 to 7 months to kind of finalize. And that's something that I was happy with at that point in time. Of course, I want to update it. But I did 4 or 5 rounds of live groups with, I would say, 5 to 6 people. Got feedback, adjusted my templates, adjusted my messages, and then I was like, okay, I'm recording. So now I have that recording in place. And I'm sure, however you want to do that, but at the very beginning, it might be good to do those live webinars and then open it up to like an always open group or a couple times a year enrollment to kind of really drum up some interest there and have them do a pre-recorded video. So that's my take on that one.
So now your group, Allie, is basically an evergreen program.
Mm-hmm.
Is that
Yeah.
right?
Super active in the new year, quiet in the summer.
Do you have any live components then? Or is it all pre-recorded and evergreen?
What I do in the live components, I do live Q&As on a weekly basis.
Okay, that's great.
And then I offer additional content. So if I'm like, I have a highly requested topic, I had a GI Mediterranean diet request. Everyone wanted to do it. So I created a webinar for everyone that was in the group. That's now a library video. It's an additional training that goes into my course that they can watch after they're done with the core course. So I'm constantly adding to it, developing it. It's basically like a mecca of all Mediterranean nutritionist information. Mm-hmm. Everything is pre-recorded in that teachable site. And then I may do like a cooking demo here and there, happy hour, get to know you, hot seat type of thing as scheduled by me. There's no schedule to those. I don't really want to have, because they're getting so much already. I don't want to overwhelm them, but I still want to see them. I still want to check in a more personal basis. That's not behind a Facebook wall or something like that.
Right. No, that makes sense. That's really, really good. Okay. Do you offer functional lab tests? I think the answer is no.
No, we don't have any integration with I think Fullscripts was a common one. Yeah, no, nothing like that. Just the notes section and the care plan.
And do you yourself take insurance as
I do not. I'm fully self-pay. And then just on that note, because we do have a lot of pros that use Eat Love that run successful insurance practices and use Eat Love as an add-on accountability. Leslie, you've interviewed Carrie before, so great information that you guys share on those webinars. And basically charging a monthly minimum or a cap, whatever that is, I see anywhere from $59 to $99 a month and everywhere in between, having that insurance piece so that you can provide a little bit more care in between sessions. And that's what's big. People will pay for accountability. You just have to show them the value in it. So their insurance can cover that one-on-one in session time. But what happens in between that session? What happens, maybe you want to check in once a week. Maybe you want to give them meal plans. You want to give them meal inspiration, but insurance won't cover for that. So you feel like you can't offer it because you won't get paid for it. So this would be a good opportunity for an add-on program with insurance.
Absolutely. Okay, so it's time flies. So as we begin to wrap up, are there any, I guess, final words of wisdom that you'd like to share with our audience today?
Oh, so many things. I think from the comments and a lot of, we have a lot of new business goers here and just interested in Eat Love for the first time as well, and trying to figure out how your signature program works with a software like Eat Love or just getting your business up and running. So I think the best thing is just to get started with it. It's going to change. You're not going to recognize it in 6 months anyways. But as long as you just start something, you put your message out there, it doesn't matter who's listening. When I started on Instagram, I think I talked to myself for the first 6 months, and I kept making it a point. I have to show up. I have to do something every single day, whether it's a post, a story, connecting with someone in the DMs. But it's going to become a habit at some point where I feel like I've hit that, setting where I've become connecting with the people that want the message that I'm delivering. And that starts with just getting started. And it's going to look messy, and that's okay. It's hard for us dietitians to feel like we're not in control at times, but it's all for the best. And you'll, a year later, you be like, wow, what happens if I never started? What happens if I never got started? And you don't want to feel like that. So just put one step forward, show up every single day. Good things will happen.
Absolutely. Okay, so I actually have a link that I want to share. LeslieBytel.com/lead-gen for anyone that wants to download some strategies and tips on how to increase lead generation, how to get awesome leads into your business. So it's a compilation of 7 different PDFs that I put together for you. So be sure to check that out. And then why don't you, Allie, tell me can you verbally tell me the link for people that want to bring on a membership? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's PRO .eatlove.is.
Okay.
And then we can also put our we'll leave it there for now. Yeah, that's.
Oh, okay. Is that it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see. Is it pro dot?
Yep.
Did I do this right?
Pro.eatlove.is.
Okay,
got it. Paste it and see if it opens up a page. If it does, we're good.
Okay. Awesome. All right, guys. So yeah, check it out. I'm going to do the same. I don't think I have my complimentary membership, so I'm going to go and set that up myself. I'm really excited about it. All right. So thank you so very much for joining me today, Allie. It was really fun getting to know you better, and of course providing some really awesome information and strategies and tips to our audience today. Thanks everyone for joining. Really appreciate it. And we will be here next week, same time, same place. So I hope you'll join me then. All right. Hope everybody is. You're welcome. Good to see you, Allie. Hope you guys, all those of you that celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas. And we'll see you next week. All right, everybody. Bye for now.
Bye.